There was an article that came out in Bitcoin magazine talking about volcano Bitcoin mining gives El Salvador 29 million boost. Now, if you can remember, the IMF probably around a couple of years ago, got on El Salvador big time for putting a lot of money because they were buying, Bitcoin, every single month. And IMF was giving them all kinds of grief because of their debt problem. They didn't mind them putting money in US dollars and stuff like this, but putting money in Bitcoin was totally against what, their religion. And the thing about it is right here is if people don't see it by now, the US dollar is going to go into a pure T collapse. I mean, anybody, if you look at the figures, can tell. And I think what's going to happen is, and I've just seen the last few days about this new BRICS currency that's coming out. You got to remember, China and India alone, those two countries represent about almost a third of the world population. And in fact, it's about a little bit over a third of the world population. And then you got all these other countries that join forces. But it's not just because that. I think the biggest reason they're concerned with this, they see and they understand that the U.S. debt will not be paid off. No politician has any interest in doing it. So now El Salvador, not only are they, investing in Bitcoin, they're finding ways to mine it and to do it really, really inexpensive. They're doing it with volcano energy. And this is the thing that this guy's really become a genius on conservative values. He's cut back on the taxes. They came back and are making this now a pure territorial tax system, whereas before it was not. That was the thing that I had a little bit of a beef about, because it was one of the few countries other than Mexico and Central America that really didn't have a pure territorial tax system. So he took that negative out. What he's trying to do is take all the negatives out, the crime, the tax issues and stuff like this. And now he's thinking about ways of using Bitcoin and not only just investing in it, but mining it and doing it where the cost is extremely low, using their natural resources, which are volcanoes. Now, they went on to say in the article, and by the way, too, just to let you know, El Salvador's got 137 visa-free or visa-free and arrival countries and territories that you can go to. But the great thing about El Salvador is these countries of the 137, they do have visa-free travel to the Schengen countries, okay? And my suggestion is, if you're thinking about leaving your other high-tax country, especially if it's a U.S. passport, what I would be considering strongly is get a quick, fast-track citizenship first, and then pick a place that's got good residency, real good ideas like this guy's got, that the taxes are going to be low. They're moving towards more and more conservative type values. They're using a system that Bitcoin could drop. Sure, it could drop, but it's not going to go down to nothing and stay at nothing. I don't see that happening. Okay. And this is the thing about the dollar. The dollar 100% is going to go into default status if they don't start at least paying off the interest. I don't even see them doing that. And I don't even see a politician, including Trump. I don't see any of the politicians with a plan to pay off the debt. I just don't see it. I mean, they're not going to get elected if they come out with something to begin with, because you're going to have to cut out Social Security, Medicare. You're going to have to take these social programs and get them down to nothing. And I don't see that happening. And so the key is the timing. When is this going to happen? Well, I think when it's already happening, okay? The BRICS countries have recognized, okay? And other countries are coming in too with the new BRICS currency. And they're seeing that the U.S. is not going to pay off this debt. It's just not going to happen, okay? They're trying to form something. Now I hear people say, well, it won't replace the dollar. Maybe it won't, but then maybe it will, okay? And I think they probably won't have to replace the dollar, because the dollar will go into a defunct status, is the way I see it. But anyway, they were talking about here that El Salvador, they've mined nearly 474 Bitcoins worth around 29 million US dollars since September 2021 using geothermal energy from the Tecapa volcano. Now, this boosts the country's total Bitcoin holdings to 5,750 Bitcoins that are valued at over $360 million. Now, this is really good for a small country. and no telling what they're going to do from here. I mean, this guy's done a lot with the crime, with the tax system. He's taken every single negative out, okay? Now, one thing I would like to see him take out, for those who are kind of like me that don't want to learn a second language enough to take a test, is at least for people maybe over 60 or 65 years old, is eliminate the language test, because you're going to learn Spanish anyway. When you go to the country, you're going to pick it up, okay? But the extent to learn enough to get the language under your belt, it's going to take some time to do it. But I would like to see them kind of take that away to get the passport, okay? In other words, you can get the citizenship and passport with no language requirements, either across the board or either have an age part on it. And I think they would get a lot of people coming in. Now, Nicaragua has done this. So Nicaragua used to have a test requirement to get the passport, but they don't now. The only problem in Nicaragua is they don't allow dual citizenship. That's the problem with it. And the freedom level there is very low. This is the thing you've got to look at also. You want to look at free elections. If you don't get that, you're going to have problems, and you won't know it. If you get in the court system, you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, I ran this in Dubai. So, and this is when I was telling everybody about Dubai, and these people were putting all these nice positive videos on Dubai until they actually moved there and set up a business, and they found out that I was right on that. Okay, but anyway, El Salvador mined nearly 474 Bitcoin worth 29 million using this volcano fuel geothermal power in the last 3 years. And this renewable energy mining operation is a collaborative effort between El Salvador and Bitcoin mining firms like Foundry USA, Antpool via BTC, F2 Pool, and Binance Pool. It uses the geothermal power from Tecapa, one of El Salvador's many active volcanoes. Of the 102 megawatts generated by the state-owned geothermal power plant beside the volcano, 1.5 megawatts go towards Bitcoin mining. President Nayib Bukele has installed specialized mining processors to facilitate the process. Now, El Salvador made headlines in 2021 by becoming the first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Despite criticism from the IMF, which I mentioned earlier, and others, Bukele has remained committed to Bitcoin with a Bitcoin mining operation powered by volcano-fueled geothermal energy, embodying the forward-thinking approach. Folks, if you want to learn more on how to legally get around high income taxes and how to get a second passport as quick as 4 to 8 months, do 3 things. Hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen right here. You get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, put it below. And number 3 is go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com, and just ask for some help. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.